Have you ever faced a situation where your Angular component just doesn't seem to communicate properly with its directives? It's frustrating, right? If that's you, then you're in the right place. Today, we're tackling the issue of emitting events from a structural directive to a parent component in Angular. I know how annoying it is when your code seems perfect, but something just doesn't work as expected. You're not alone in this. Many developers encounter this issue when working with Angular directives and components. Here's the specific situation we're looking at. One user recently asked, "Why doesn't my parent component receive events emitted from my structural directive?" They shared their code and mentioned that the event handler in the parent component never gets called. Sound familiar? Let's dig into this together and find a solution. So what could be causing this issue? When a structural directive emits an event, it should ideally bubble up to the parent component. However, there are certain scenarios where this might not happen, such as incorrect event binding or lifecycle timing. We'll break it down step by step so you can figure out what's going on. And don't go anywhere. I've got a crucial tip at the end that will help you ensure your events are emitted correctly every time. To address the issue of the parent component not receiving the emitted event from the structural directive, the user should first ensure that the event emitter is correctly set up in the directive. Next, the user should verify that the event is being emitted at the right time. In the directive, the event should be emitted inside the ng-on-init lifecycle hook. The user should also check the HTML template where the directive is used. It's important to ensure that the directive is applied correctly and that the output event is being listened to in the parent component. Finally, the user should confirm that the parent component's method, container-do-something, is defined and accessible. This ensures that when the event is emitted, the method will be called. Did you know? Angular's change detection is like a detective on a case, always looking for changes to notify the right components. But sometimes, even the best detectives miss a clue. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user points out that emitting events from a structural directive may not work because the native element it references is always a comment. This means that no event gets generated in the DOM. They clarify that this issue does not occur with attribute directives, as those are attached to actual DOM elements. Here's the crucial tip I promised. Always ensure that your event emitters are initialized and that you're using the correct lifecycle hooks. This will save you a lot of headaches down the line. And there you have it. Your Angular components should now communicate effectively. Remember, understanding the lifecycle and event binding is key. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button for more tips, and don't miss our bonus tip on optimizing your Angular applications.